Hey, what's going on, everybody? BDF44 coming at you with another video. All right, with everything that's going on in the NBA, I've been on in this camera all day long, but of course, I want to keep up with my own basketball team, the Los Angeles Lakers. And we have a game tonight at 7 o'clock at the Crow against the champs, the Milwaukee Bucks. Um, Now, I'm looking at this game two different ways. On one hand, for the Lakers, I say we're lambs being led to the slaughter. This is going to be a massacre. It's going to be an ugly one, and we're in trouble. For the Bucks, I'm looking at it another way. I'm saying, Bucks, this is a trap game. Bucks better be very careful not to take the Lakers lightly in this game. I know y'all beat the hell out of the Clippers a couple nights ago, but what you got to understand, you must understand, Bucks, is as bad as the Lakers have been, we haven't had our big three at all, and we got them tonight. They there. Now we don't have Carmelo Anthony. I hear Dwight Howard is questionable, which means coach probably doesn't want to play him for no reason whatsoever as usual. Um, but this is a situation where, the champs have had some issues. Even though they've been winning games lately, they've had some ups and downs, ups and downs. I look at their bench. I'm not in love with their bench as much as I was last season, stuff like that. One thing that we know is that their coach is going to make some decisions that are going to be unorthodox. Sometimes they run the ball through Middleton, as to which I think they can be the best team in the world when they do that. Other times they run things through Giannis, which can make it for a stagnant offense. But at the end of the day, it's still Giannis, it's still Middleton, it's still Holiday. Holiday, welcome home. He's an LA guy. You're going to have to deal with that big three, and they're going to have to deal with our big three, and that's just what it comes down to. The issue is the Lakers. And the same stuff we always talk about. Frank is going to leave the door open for you. It's up to you whether you're going to walk through it or not. And since we haven't made the decision to relieve him of his duties, we still suffer his decisions. So I expect him to do everything he can to make sure that the Bucks have a chance to win the game tonight, and I don't expect us to win at all. However, if the Bucks come in with that mindset, they can run into a game where LeBron James and Anthony Davis blow their socks off. Because for a fact, Bron's going to be up for this. AD's going to be up for this. Russell Westbrook's coming off a terrible game. So if you come in thinking he's going to play terrible, you're probably right. But I wouldn't play him like he's going to bounce back playing terrible. I think it's a good chance that Russell Westbrook actually has a great game tonight just because of how long it's been since that bad game. And it's a volatile situation when a player's a Hall of Famer. Yeah, he's been struggling for 100 games in a row, but this could be the night where he doesn't. And you don't want to be on the wrong side of that if you're the Bucks. That's what I'm saying to my team. You better come in expecting the Lakers to be the NBA Finals Lakers. And if you do that, you probably win by 25. But if you come in thinking we're going to play half-mass, if you expect Russell Westbrook to only score 5 points and all those different things, it's a trap game for you. And you're going to find yourself in a situation where you may end up in a dogfight. Bron is going to play well. That's a fact. I don't have to even. If he's out there, he's going to play well. This is how this goes. Expect triple-double type numbers, high scoring. He's going to show up for Giannis. That's inevitable. He's still in competition for who's the best player in the world in his mind, and this is the pinnacle right there. That's the guy right now. So I'd expect Giannis to go off for great numbers, but I don't expect him to get like 50 tonight because if he comes out jumping on down our throats, then chances are he won't have to play in the full game. That's the reality of it. So you don't expect him to have to go for 50 or nothing like that. Middleton is a guy that you obviously have to be aware of. He is a walking bucket at all times. He has very long arms, extremely intelligent, and he does make his team better. He's an all-star this year, which I think is kind of questionable, but he still deserves to be there. I just felt some other guys could have been there ahead of him. However, Drew Holiday is one of the best defensive players in the league as well. We all know who Drew Holiday is, UCLA product, LA native. He's going to show up and show out. This is his team. I don't know if he grew up a Laker fan, but everybody in LA, when you come to see the purple and gold, you want to be at your best. Grayson Allen is probable for tonight, and you know how I feel about Grayson Allen's actions, but he's a very good player, and that ain't got nothing to do with the two. Those two things are separate. Grayson Allen can come out and score 25 points on you from their bench. A guy by the name of Dante DiVincenzo, who's kind of in limbo right now in terms of what he can do, but the role hasn't been there for him in a while. And so he's a guy that I think would want to raise his trade value. Obviously, the trade deadline's coming up. His name has been mentioned a lot. I would think that Budenholzer would want to play him so that they can raise his trade value and ultimately get the most for him. Tonight would be a night he would have an opportunity to do that. So I don't know if they're going to move that direction or not, but it stands to reason if they would like to move him, now is the time to play him a little more than usual. And I would say the same thing for the Laker players as well. Expect to see players out there who you would want to see value go up. THT will probably get a little more minutes tonight. Bazemore might get some minutes tonight. Depending on how the Lakers are thinking, I would imagine you'd want those players to be on the floor. Now, unless they already have deals in place for certain players, as to which you probably may not even see them at all. So it's a lot of different ways this could go since we're so close to the trade deadline. Deals are being made. The Lakers are in talks of doing all kinds of stuff. So I think that will determine how the lineups are played tonight. It just usually is around this time of year. A guy by the name of Jordan Nwora is somebody I always pay attention to when the Bucks are in town. He tends to be able to help his team. He does a lot of good things for them with the limited minutes that they provide him, and he's somebody who can very easily give you 15, 20 points on a very good night. You expect not to see Brook Lopez. Our guy Brook Lopez will not be out there. He is hurt. Part of the injury report there, and I forgot who the other player was that they're not expecting to see, but it was another. I apologize, I just forgot. But for us, we as I said, we're not expecting Kendrick Nunn, even though he's closer to coming back than he's ever been before. He's now doing drills and things of that nature. Last I heard, he had a good response to one of those workouts. So that's a thing. Of course, Carmelo's still out with the hammy. And, this is a situation where, look, if you're a Laker fan, you're not looking too forward to this one. I ain't going to lie to you. This is one of them ones where even if we were at our best, we still think we're probably not favored to win this particular game. It's just Giannis, man. Giannis is coming. Like, that's it. He's Giannis. This is what, you get a chance to really see another great player. We see LeBron every night. We see AD playing very well right now, which I've been extremely happy with. And I expect him to have a fantastic game to try to prove himself against Giannis as well. He tends to wake up for Giannis, man. If I remember correctly, AD usually does play pretty well against Giannis. So I'd expect him to continue his good play tonight. But the reality is, this is going to be a situation where you're going to really look at Russell Westbrook and say, okay, what kind of start are you having to this game? If you're playing well to start the game, we're in good shape. If you're doing some of that stuff we saw against New York, we have to remove him from the lineup. You're going up against Jrue Holiday. We're just not going to be able to succeed at all if Russell Westbrook's trying him or trying to beat him off the dribble, all that stuff. It's probably best to just play it by ear as it pertains to Westbrook. If he's coming out strong, attacking the rim, getting people in foul trouble, that's our best bet. But if he's playing the way he played in New York, I just sit him entirely. I take him out in the first quarter, you never see him again. I'm one of those. And we'll just have to fight it out, because there ain't no way I'm going to allow him to embarrass himself in the form that he did against New York, against the champs on national television. I'm not doing that. I'm not doing that. So that's one aspect of it. That's just me personally. I don't know how Frank feels about that. Trevor Ariza's getting in better shape. I'm not a fan of us playing him. But in that New York game, I think if I'm not mistaken, he played pretty well. The game before that, he did some things that helped us too. With the minutes that he's given, his three-point shot is starting to come around. Hopefully we can get the most out of him tonight if we call his number, which I expect Frank to do. And I'm trying to be a bit more optimistic about Trev in general, just because I'm really down on him, and he really has gotten himself in a bit better shape as the season is progressing. And remember, he's coming back from injury. He's working himself back in, and he's an older guy, so that's a double trouble right there. But without Carmelo Anthony, our coach tends to rely upon him, so expect that to be the case tonight. Stanley Johnson, our guy Austin Reeves. I always say the word "our guy" for some reason. Austin Reeves and THT are players I'm looking to play well tonight. I haven't mentioned Malik Monk, but he's going to be mentioned right now. Malik Monk is coming off a game where he had 29 points, for which I keep telling you guys I really believe if we would have just played possessions a bit more, if we would have took them more seriously, if we would have not taken some of the bad shots that we took, he would have had a 35, 40-point night. So I'm definitely high on Malik Monk. My concern, my fear as a Laker fan, is that this may be one of the last games we see him play, because the Lakers are in a situation where they have to make a decision, and that's not really within their control. Either they create cap space that would be satisfactory enough for him to sign with us and we don't know what his price tag is going to be, being that we have him on a $1.6 million contract and he's playing as well as he is, chances are he's going to get bagged from somebody. And if that's the case, we're going to have to watch him walk for nothing. We don't have a whole lot of assets. It kind of stands to reason that it wouldn't make any sense for us to allow him to walk away from us or hit free agency at all. So if we can't create cap space with a deal, then our front office may be forced to make a decision to either allow him to walk or to trade him for something right now. So my fear for Laker Nation is that we're seeing the end of Malik Monk's tenure as a Laker. I don't want to be caught off guard by that because I can see the tea leaves. When you don't have any assets, we don't have picks, we don't have players that are worth a damn for the most part outside of our big three and him, you have to be honest about how responsible you're being when you let him walk for nothing. Now, if we had a bunch of picks, a bunch of assets, if we were some team like that, then you know, it's all about what we can do this season. He's a big piece to what we're doing. We want him to finish the season with us regardless. But when you don't have no assets and he can get you 2 second-round picks, maybe a couple players that you can flip for picks or something like that, it's within your responsibility to utilize that value while it's here. So that is my concern as a GM. If I can't move DJ and THT and God bless Russell Westbrook, I probably am going to move Malik Monk unless I'm told directly from Jeanie not to do it, because I'm just not going to let that value go out the window when we don't have nothing else. So I don't know what the Lakers are going to do. I haven't heard anything about trading Malik Monk. I'd like to think that they have something in place that can create the cap space that would give him the money he'd want. But the reality is we don't know what his value is going to be. For all I know, even if we create the cap space, he probably could still walk, right? But the good thing is, if you create the cap space, at least you have a chance. And if he does walk, you can see yourself replacing him with somebody who maybe can do the things he can do. But if we're not able to create cap space, it's within our responsibility to utilize every asset we have. So that's what I got to say about that particular situation. This could be one of the last games we see Malik Monk play, and that is devastating, absolutely devastating. So with that being said, I don't expect the Lakers to get a victory tonight, but I do expect that that's going to be determined by the energy that the Bucks start the game with and carry forward. They're going to have an advantage in certain areas, but at the end of the day, those Bucks are going up against LeBron James and Anthony Davis. And that is something a lot of teams that have faced the Lakers have not had to deal with. So they would be wise to take this game extremely seriously. And that's kind of how I'm approaching the situation. In my opinion, we are at their mercy. It's all about how they approach us. They're going to flex on us and we're out of here. Bron can put up 50 points. AD can put up 50 points. Russell can put up 50 points. And maybe we'll win that way. Other than that, if Chris Middleton is doing what he normally does, Drew Holiday does what he normally does, and of course Giannis is going to be Giannis, I just don't see how we can outflex this team even at home. I don't think we're a better team than them right now. Now, their bench isn't that great. I will be the first to tell you, when you look at the back of their bench, you look at the back of our bench, they're not too far away from us because we have some of the same issues. Brooklyn Nets, those teams can't afford good role players. So if we can get some guys in foul trouble, maybe get Giannis in 2 early quick fouls, maybe hit some shots and give ourselves a little breathing room, we might have a chance to make this thing our game. But other than that, it's just about whose big three is going to do what, and it's 3-on-2 because we don't expect anything from Russell Westbrook with struggles and struggles and struggles. So that's what it comes down to, man. I would like to see Austin Reeves get to the basket. The 3-point shot isn't falling. His confidence may not be where it needs to be. Get to the basket, buddy. Dunk the ball. Stanley Johnson, same thing. Stanley Johnson has kind of found himself on the odd end of Frank's rotations. There's nothing wrong with Stanley's play. He's just being put in situations he can't really succeed in doing. He's being asked to guard players he has no business guarding on a consistent basis, and he's getting exploited because of it. That's Frank's fault. I assure you, if you put Stanley Johnson in the same situations that got him in this position to get those 10-day contracts that made him ultimately a player that we kept, going up against smaller players and regular threes, I think we would get a better game out of Stanley Johnson, but his minutes are all over the place. The lineups he puts him in are funny. He needs to be in lineups with shooters so he doesn't look as much as a liability to us. But one thing that I know about Stanley Johnson is on the offensive end is that he's going to drive to the basket and he's going to take open shots and he's been burning teams as of late. Sometimes he's going to miss. He's not a gifted shooter, but we love when he takes the ones he's supposed to take. So that's something that I'm always going to hang my hat on. I'm happy Stanley Johnson's here. I just wish our coach would put him in positions to be more successful. Without a real center out there, it's going to be a Giannis show. They're definitely going to kill us on the inside if Anthony Davis does not rim protect tonight, especially with us relying upon DJ to play the center position. If Dwight ain't out there, we're in a bad situation. So just on paper, you understand that if you're betting on this game, it's probably best to bet Bucks. That's a no-brainer. And if you happen to bet on the Lakers and they win, it'll be a big surprise to me. I'm telling you, we are not favored to win this game. It's, everybody knows. It's cut and dry. Now, I've been wrong about these type of things. I have. Sometimes when I feel this confident the Lakers are going to lose, they come out and get a victory. And you never know. Teams can lay an egg. We might get lucky and they just can't hit a shot. That can really work in our favor if we do what we're supposed to do. Maybe we can get lucky. But other than that, champs should do what they're supposed to. They should handle their business on the road at the end of the day. Sad as it sounds, this is where we're at. And not to mention that Frank's rotations are expected to be as horrible as always because Frank's, if nothing else, is consistent. So that's what we got, man. I wish we would have fired this dude 2 months ago. You know how I feel about that. I'm never going to stop saying that because I really think it's the most important thing for us, being that we have so many players that are not playing well within his system and so many players that are deficient in their own individual areas that ultimately make us an average basketball team. But Bron's going to be flexing tonight going up against the champs. AD should be healthy, ready to go, playing well right now. He's actually an MVP candidate over the last several games, if you ask me. So maybe that can help us, make a fool out of me. Who knows? But that's Giannis. That is the Greek freak. And he ain't taking plays off. I already know. There's going to be some highlights tonight. So that's what I got to say, man. I don't think I'm considering Bobby Portis like I should be. You watch out for Bobby P. That's one of my favorite players in the league, to be honest with you. He's just a hardcore power forward who can stretch the floor, score all day long. You know what I mean? He's really helpful for his team, so I didn't want to end this without mentioning his name. And I think he's going to get more minutes out there because they don't have Brook Lopez. So look out for Bobby P to have a pretty good game. And, that's pretty much it, man. That's pretty much it. Games at 7 o'clock at the Crow, man. There's nothing really to say. I'd love to tell you guys there's more to it than that, but I just expect to lose, man. When you go up against a team you know is better than you and you got your problems, it's just double down on things being bad. But this is a trap game for the Bucks. It's up to them. Are they going to walk through that door? Frank's going to leave it open. BDL 44.